We're here at Eastern Marketing Designer Showroom with CEO Craig Friedman, who's going to tell us all about Eastern Marketing. But first, Chef Kurt, what are you going to make for us today?
Today, I'm fortunate to use the Aga cooker, and we're going to make some chicken tacos with Sofrito, and also going to do some saffron rice.
Great. Well, why don't you get started while we talk to Craig and find out about Eastern Marketing?
Sure, great. Eastern Marketing is a designer showroom. We're located in Roseland, New Jersey, and we have a showroom here that's an inspiration as well as an educational center for consumers. We sell many different brands of appliances, including the Aga Marvel and this iconic cooker here. But
This looks so retro and so cool.
there are several brands here that you can come and enjoy and learn about. There's no pressure in sales here. It's just to learn about what you would like to do for your kitchen. You can bring your pots, your pans. We're here to have fun and to educate. At the same time, we don't sell to consumers. The consumers will buy the products through our franchise dealer network. So over the East Coast, which is where our distribution area is, we have probably 500 displaying dealers of these fine products.
Wow.
But we're here to help.
That sounds great, and it's wonderful that customers can come in and test out the products for themselves. Well, it looks like Chef Kurt's going to get things going here,
Yes.
and we'll taste his recipe together later.
Thank you. You're in
Thank you,
good
Craig.
hands.
See you soon.
Thank you.
All right, Chef, what do we got going today?
Okay, with the chicken, first of all, what I'm going to do is,
Come over this way so I can get a better look.
I made a little dry rub spice. We're going to season this with a touch of cayenne, some paprika, and a little kosher salt. And if anybody wants to spice it up a little bit, I have smoked paprika that adds a really wonderful flavor. I don't know if you've ever tried it.
Yes, I keep
But-
sweet and smoked.
Nice.
my
Yeah, and
kitchen.
so for certain people that might be a little too intense, so we'll go a little light. So I'm just going to season this with the dry rub spice, and then we're going to marinate it with a little bit of lime juice. Okay?
So how long do you marinate that for?
You typically need at least 30 minutes.
Okay.
You can go upwards of, let's say, 6 hours, but anything longer than that, the acid in the lime is really going to dominate the flavor of the chicken.
Okay.
So, because it's in
Well, it's starting to break down the protein as well.
That's right. Like
Yeah.
a ceviche, it's basically chemically cooking the chicken. And so that's just going to be a little too intense if you go overnight.
So let's talk about the Aga brand,
Certainly.
because I've never come across in anyone's home a stove quite this extraordinary. So tell me about it. How does it work, and where did it come
where do you
from?
begin? Well, it started from a blind physicist named Gustav Dalén. And so he wanted to create an oven in which he could help his wife cook in the kitchen. And so this was back in the 20s.
Oh, that's where the design comes from.
Entirely. So the philosophy behind it is it's cast iron, and so it translates a more ambient heat to the food. So back in the day, it used to be fired down in this flue behind the door. They would use either coal, wood, or peat. The way it distributes heat throughout the chambers of the oven, it maintains set temperatures. So then that way, going back to him being blind, he didn't have to fuss with a knob or a dial.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so one heat source is going to run a high heat for roasting, one more of a standard heat for baking, and then a low temperature for simmering or slow cooking.
Ooh, for stews.
Exactly. And then for your plates on the top, these lids help trap the heat in. So this is what they refer to
Wow.
as the boil plate. You can feel that heat.
I can feel that.
That's going to run at around 625 degrees.
That's hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Super hot.
So perfect for obviously boiling, searing. You could do flat bottom wok, stir fry. Now this is a simmer plate right here that runs at around 400 degrees.
Much more mild.
That's right. And so you can saute right on there, which we're going to do today. You could also use that surface as a griddle.
So you said saute right on there, so no pan required.
Correct. So let's
Very
say,
cool.
But you would definitely do that with items that are less oil. So
Okay.
be it more like your breakfast type items. If you're going to do anything like you're sauteing chicken breast with a sauce, you'd want that in a pan because obviously you don't want to be cleaning up that mess on the stovetop. But light oil items, so pancakes, French toast, you can do eggs right on there, omelets on there, quesadillas, grilled cheese sandwich for the kids. There's a classic European fried bread in which they put an egg in the center. It looks fantastic, so
Oh.
they do that on there as well.
Stay tuned for more from Chef Kurt Von Kahle. I've never come across a stove quite this extraordinary.
The great thing about the whole unit is, since it is cast iron, it transfers that heat throughout the entire surface of the stovetop. So instead of just utilizing the burners, you want to take advantage of all of your surface area. So for example, melting butter or chocolate, you're going to position that over here in the ends because of the nice warmth from the stovetop. As we get to this side, the transfer of heat can be hotter over here. So let's say you wanted to simmer tomato sauce or a soup. After you get it started on the burner, you can slide it over here to stay warm and keep that nice rolling simmer going.
That's quite a different philosophy than what most of us are used to with a stove.
That's right, that's right. And so generally when people first look at this, they're confused because you're used to 4, 5, or 6 burners. So here with 2, once they understand the positioning of their pans, they understand that, you know, it's basically limitless. And the philosophy of this transfers to about 20% stovetop cooking, 80% in the oven. And so very similar to a restaurant, they might start a sauté dish on the stovetop and finish in an oven to speed it up. We can do the exact same thing here. Here is our roasting oven, and that's going to run...
These get really hot?
Yeah, I mean, feel this one right here. Since that's the hottest oven, that's going to run at around 460 degrees. This one runs at about 350, and that runs at about 225 for the low simmer. And so going back to when I was describing the classic cooker, that stayed the same for years, and it went from, like I said, coal, wood, or peat to then gas or electric. But that oven would stay on for 24 hours a day, so it would help warm the kitchen. Now this is referred to as Total Control 3, because now you have the capability to power up the oven when you want it on. So you can select an on button, you can select an individual burner or an individual oven. And it doesn't have to run 24/7, although you can have it run in what they refer to as a slumber mode. So each oven's going to run at around 250 degrees, and that just executes a quicker preheat for you.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Makes
the
things
homes
faster.
where they want that nice ambient heat to warm their kitchen, they have that capability.
I was wondering where the controls were. Cool. So do
That's
you
right.
need that to turn on? Are we going to get the chicken started?
I actually already powered it up.
Okay.
From cold, the entire unit takes about 45 minutes. Individually, it breaks down a lot less on times. And then also they have a remote that you can use, and you can set this oven so that it comes on once or twice during the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's totally different than what I'm used to.
That's right. All right. Getting back to the chicken, so we're just going to add a little bit of the lime juice to this.
I love my Mexican food. So I will tell you, don't be afraid about the spice.
Okay, well then maybe we should take advantage. Will you hand me then that smoked paprika?
I will.
We'll add a little bit of that.
My pleasure. Nice.
Now we're going to do about, I'm using about 2 pounds of chicken, and we're going to do about the juice of 2 limes, and then for the spices, I'm really using about, I'd say about a tablespoon or so of paprika, about a teaspoon of my cayenne, and about a teaspoon and a half of my kosher salt, and now we just added about a half on the smoked paprika, which is going to really kick it up.
Nice.
So I hope you like that.
I do. So are we using, looks like dark meat?
I'm using boneless, skinless chicken thighs as opposed to chicken breast because this is going to add a really nice flavor.
I agree.
You
Very
know-
moist, very, really absorbs the flavor more so than the breast does.
That's right.
Usually.
And since it is kind of a tougher cut, the marinade that we're doing now helps break it down. And we're gonna, after this marinates a bit, I'm gonna cut these down into bite-sized pieces. That'll also help speed up the cooking. So when somebody wants to saute this on the fly at home, they can knock this dish out in no time. So now we're just gonna add a second lime here. And then Maria, if you could do me a favor and just
Yep.
pop this pan into the refrigerator, and I previously marinated some chicken already. Now I already rinsed my rice, so we're just gonna add our rice and water, and we're gonna use,
How fast does water boil on this stove?
well, obviously depending on the quantity can vary, but at 625 degrees, it's pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Get to test it out.
I'll trust you with this. If you could open that up and just flake out, I would do about 4 or 5 of the saffron threads. And then I'm gonna add a couple fresh bay leaves to this. And we'll do a little bit of
Is that
salt.
enough?
A couple more would be
Couple
great.
more, okay. I know this is no cheap commodity here.
Yeah, they are pricey. That's why you want to use them sparingly. Yeah, that'll work. That'll be great. Okay.
That's going to look pretty and change the color completely.
That's right. And the flavor of the saffron is going to go fantastic with the smoked paprika that you added, so that's great. And so now we're just going to use some avocado in this sofrito. Now the sofrito is typically a kind of like a mirepoix for Spanish and Latin American cuisine. And so usually they'll use it in soups and stews, and a lot of people can, use it also cold as similar to a salsa, but you're not adding, any acid, any lemon or lime juice or any oils to it. And I'm using a little bit more lime juice just to keep the avocado from turning brown.
Stay tuned for more from Eastern Marketing. We now return with more from Chef Kurt Von Kahle.
I have heated up a cast iron skillet, and the ovens are deceiving. They're full depth, so you can fit a large roast in the entire oven. I mean, they look tiny, but I've done a 28-pound turkey in these ovens, so they're pretty large.
It certainly seems like a versatile appliance to have in your kitchen.
Without a doubt, you can do a lot of food simultaneously. Now I'm using a little grapeseed oil in the cast iron skillet because grapeseed's a nice high heat oil, and it's heart healthy. Very similar to an olive oil, but it can withstand the high heat. Many times when people cook with olive oils, depending on the dish, the high heat can really ruin the flavor and the qualities of the olive oil.
The smoking point's not as high.
That's right.
Now I notice you're using 2 different types of pans here. Can you use any type of pan on this type of stove?
Without a doubt. Since it is cast iron, it's great to use cast because of the flavor that you get. These particular pans, actually Aga makes, they did a really creative thing by inverting the handle of the lid. This way you can stack your pans, and you can also utilize the oven for finished cooking. So for example, right now,
smart.
Isn't that nice? So I could set my rice here to simmer, or I could utilize the oven and let the rice continue.
Simmer station.
That's right. Well, for today, we can actually utilize the bake oven and just slide this right in. That's going to take about 15 minutes right there. And so back to our high heat.
Ready to go with the chicken?
That's right. So we can go right in. This will
Ooh,
sear
that's
up
hot.
nice.
I think I have my apron on.
That's right. There's a nice little spray. If you're taking your spoon or spatula and moving that protein around, you're going to tear it away because the cold temperature of that protein dropped down the temperature of the oil in the pan. That's what creates the sticking effect. So now I can test this and see if it can flip, and see it comes right up and off the pan. So nothing's really sticking now because the heat of the pan helped pull the chicken away from that surface.
And that's why they always tell you to wait before turning it over, right?
That's right. Don't speed it up. And so now I'm going to use the high heat in the roasting oven, and we're going to slide this right in here to finish.
Now, could you finish that on the stovetop?
Definitely.
If you want to.
Definitely. But like I was saying, all of that steam coming off the chicken is the moisture cooking out of it. By utilizing the cast iron chamber, we're going to help trap that moisture in, and now we also don't have excessive smells in our kitchen. All right? So now while that's cooking, we're going to make the sofrito. And so this is a combination of a little bit of onion, and we're going to just dice this up. Now I have a saute pan. We're going to let that warm for a few minutes.
The handle's not hot to touch, so I'm surprised.
Yeah, the
It's
kind
funny
of
to leave that
spring
open.
form of that handle keeps the heat from the cast iron to transfer into the heat of the handle.
So now I really get to see how you use all the pieces of this oven, the different types of cookware you can use on it.
I mean, the different oven chambers, again, many times people look at them and they think, okay, well, it's too small or I'm too limited. Well, that top right oven, I mean, you can roast in that oven, you can broil in that oven. You can also use the floor of the roasting oven that we're using right now as a pizza stone. So now I'm adding my green pepper to my onion. And next up, we're going to do some red bell pepper too. Always want to take the seeds out. We're going to pull the white membrane out. Add our red pepper to our little mirepoix mix here. And now we're going
to look like a beautiful rainbow of colors.
Isn't it nice? And now I got some nice fresh tomatoes. Now you could use for this dish plum. Heirlooms are really nice. And we're gonna dice these up the exact same way. Just loosely grab these, leave the
How's
remnant
our rice
seeds.
and chicken doing?
That's just about there. If you could do me a favor and just add some oil to this pan. Again, we're using the grapeseed because it's nice high heat oil. Do about a couple tablespoonfuls. That'll work. Just swirl that around to coat the pan. Now, since the pan was preheating, that really accents the oils. As you can see, once it starts to wave, that's kind of the cue when you want to add your food product.
It's got that sheen to it.
That's right. All right, so now what we'll do is, if you would be as so kind as to stir this around, and actually I'll check on our rice, see how that's coming along.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Look at that color.
Saffron adds that wonderful flavor. Now what I want to do is just slide you over here to the boil plate so you can continue sauteing. And let me
Okay.
scoot over. Let's check and see how our chicken's making out.
Whew.
See all that steam coming out of the oven? Again,
Yeah.
that moisture's trapped in. Now look at all the moisture in the pan. We wouldn't have that much had we done this start to finish on the stovetop.
It would have all evaporated.
That's right. And so by utilizing the cast iron chamber, it helps trap that moisture in. And so now, as you can see, we're pretty much there. And so what I'm going to do is utilize a little bit of this juice here to flavor up our sofrito, since we're combining the two. And I'm just going to also add a little salt and pepper. I'll do a little black pepper, and if you would be as so kind as to add a touch of salt for me.
Sure.
There's a little pad here. I'm going to use this to keep my chicken warm up here on the chrome
Oh.
top without scratching it.
Another trick.
That's right. Now we're just going to grab some flour tortillas, and I also have corn tortillas, and we can also heat those up right on the surface area.
Stay tuned for more from Chef Kurt Von Kahle. We're back with more from Eastern Marketing.
Now what I'm going to do is dice up our chicken. We can cut.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you this platter here.
All
You
right.
just put this to the side.
Oops. Just stole that
problem.
from you. Sorry.
Okay, now this here, we can just keep our sofrito nice and warm up there. And now this chicken, you can tell it's cooked all the way through because it's nice and firm as I press down on it. That's a great way to test to see if it's cooked all the way through, because you don't want to cut into it too soon if it's not cooked all the way.
That's a great tip. Now, I also noticed that Eastern Marketing carries more than just this Aga stove. Tell me about the others that are in the showroom.
Certainly. The Aga, as much as this is a brilliant piece, it's not for every kitchen. So they have two ranges. One's called the Legacy, and that's a dual fuel style range. And the other one is their Pro series. And those are multi-function ovens. And they have, 5 burners on the Pro that you see over here, as well as on the 36-inch Legacy, and they also have a 44. And to follow the philosophy of the multiple ovens like you see here, that's what's in the Legacy range. So there's a multi-function oven, there's a convection oven, you also have a separate broil area as well. And so it's very similar in look and in function. If you'll put the tortillas, line them right into that bowl, and then what we're going to do is just put in our chicken with sofrito, and we're going to garnish it up with a little bit of watercress. And I also have some fresh cilantro over there. I'll give you a spoon, and just spoon out a couple pieces of the avocado, and that can go right on the chicken. I'll go right in
on
here.
the chicken.
Good job on the sauté here with the veg.
My pleasure. I love being in the kitchen. Okay, there you go.
Nice.
All set.
Just do a little sofrito on each, and then we'll do a little cilantro and watercress on the top. And this is a great light summer meal. Oh, and who has showed up?
Okay, looks fantastic.
time.
Yeah, I'm here always at the right time for
Got
the
a little
food.
bit of.
Nice. Oh,
You
you
know
can
how
go
you want
heavy
it to
on.
go,
You
heavy?
can go heavy on the watercress. Now,
Yeah?
yeah, I'll just.
Like.
Yeah,
big
we're gonna
chunks?
just use a little bit of cilantro on each.
Okay.
But with the watercress, you can go heavy. You know how they have standard iceberg or Boston bib?
Yeah.
in a taco, we're going to use watercress. Adds a nice peppery finish to it.
I want to screw up your presentation here.
Oh, that's looking great. Yeah, a little bit more over here, and I think we're good to go.
Chef Kurt, I can't wait to taste this.
Please, let's give them a shot. They're
All
ready
right.
to go.
All right, you from that end.
Okay, will do.
Craig, go ahead.
Napkin for you.
Thank you. Put your back there.
Here's the fine corn tortilla.
okay.
I'll try one with a flour.
Corn are my favorite.
Nice.
Too.
That's delish.
Delicious, moist.
And look how it keeps warm right here. Ooh.
Nice finish with the
Napkins.
avocado.
I got. Great job, Chef Kurt.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks to both of you. Thanks to Easter Marketing.
Oh.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Chef Von Kahle. I hope we get to come back soon.
You're welcome anytime.
Chef's Kitchen loves it here. Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Took something from the show? Went to a restaurant that you loved? Found a place serving innovative cocktails or impressive wine? Become a fan of the Chef's Kitchen on Facebook and share your thoughts. The secret to more flavorful food is cast iron cooking, and the AGA Total Control does it best. Ambient heat locks in moisture, while multiple ovens and dual hot plates give you 10 cooking methods in one classic design. Program ovens to turn on and off with a touch of a button. And bake, roast, slow cook, boil, saute, and simmer, all at the same time. Visit agamarvel.com to learn more. The AGA Total Control. It's simply a better way to cook.